But we're gonna get right into it because my man gets home in an hour. So that means this video is gonna be done within an hour. I get to talk about my man. What gets better than that? You know, besides helping you guys, of course. Something in my head was like, oh, I want to talk about my man. Great guy. Have you ever wondered if a relationship is holding you back or causing more harm than good? Now, if we're being completely honest, bro, you guys know. You already know if this relationship is going great or not. I promise you, you're just being delusional, but like you already know. You get a little blind when it's you and the person, first person perspective. You kind of sometimes need a third person perspective, okay? I want to explain why this happens a little more. So pretty much our mind clings to the comfort of what we know, right? So even if it's hurting us, we tend to stay because it gives our body a familiarity about it. It gives your body some sort of comfort because it's close or replicates completely. It could completely replicate or slightly replicate what you went through in some shape or form. Something about it gives us comfort. That's why a lot of people get so attached to the wrong person. And even them, they're like, why am I so attached to him? He's hurting me or she's hurting me. And then you're still running towards them though. That's why they give you some sort of comfort, even if it is bad for you and it's something you don't want. You have to be stronger than your comfort zone. Being super emotionally invested in someone that's the wrong person, you're going to have that attachment to them. You're going to most likely have that anxious attachment to them. You guys are kind of feeding off of each other's energy, so the more you run towards them, the more they run away. Now, something you need to get good at. Leaving means facing uncertainty. If you leave, you don't know what you're gonna get next. You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't really want to maybe face the feelings that you're gonna feel. Staying means sacrificing your peace and your growth. If you don't want peace, I don't know why you're watching this video. And if you don't want growth, I mean, you can repeat the same day over and over. Have fun with that. Start now. Do what you gotta do now to figure it out. To get the peace, to get that growth that you need to get where you want to go, to get the relationship you want. You have to be able to see this shift in perspective, going from fear to seeing it as freedom. That's really the key of letting go of someone. It's like, yes, it can be scary to let that person go, but it's also very freeing to let someone go. It's like a weight off your shoulder. Now I'm going to tell you how to fix the issue like I always do. I always give y'all that step by step. You feel me? I'm not leaving no room for you guys to have excuses. You guys are going to put the work in. You guys are going to grow and you guys are going to change, all right? You guys are going to get what you need to get. Step 1, you need to recognize the toxic pattern. How are you going to even be like, yeah, this relationship's toxic? You don't even know what the fuck's toxic about it. You're just going off a feeling of it doesn't feel right or something. Which is valid, I guess, but you need to know what the pattern is. Is there emotional manipulation here? Is there disrespect here? That's something that just drained me just thinking about that. And then, you know, there's other forms of toxicity, which can be like as simple as lack of support, which I feel like a lot of people don't really think about the smaller things, right? And they always want to label stuff as like the big things, like emotional manipulation or someone's a narcissist or this and that, throwing words around and then not realizing that there's also other toxic patterns and behaviors that can lead to way worse down the road. Lack of support and like the smaller things like that honestly hit a lot harder compared to everything else. Like a lot of people would be like, oh, but there's bigger issues. Just know when something starts a certain way with a relationship, it usually gets a lot worse. So them lacking in support to your decisions can turn to them becoming very controlling, becoming very manipulative, wanting you to do what they want to do. But you just need to like really pay attention to that. So step 2, set boundaries. And not just set boundaries, but set boundaries and see how the other person reacts to the fact that you set boundaries. The person does not respect the fact that you set boundaries. They become disrespectful once they see that you're kind of like taking a stand on what you want for your life and for this relationship. Then the door. Gotta go. Because everyone has boundaries. Everyone should have boundaries. The person you're with should be 100% okay with the boundaries that you have for yourself and that you set for yourself. Personally, I would say figure out what your boundaries are before you get into a relationship. Obviously, a relationship helps you figure out a little more in depth the type of boundaries that you want sometimes. But for the most part, you should be going into a relationship already kind of thinking about the boundaries that you want to set. Really pay attention to how someone reacts to it. That tells you everything you need to know. My boyfriend I'm sorry. No, but for real. Okay, so my boyfriend, personally, it wasn't like I was deliberately like throwing boundaries at him and was just, throwing random boundaries and was like, yeah, I want to see how he reacts. It was literally like, I know what I want and I know the boundaries I have. I'm going to share them with you. I really like conversations that are like deep rather than like the small talk. So me and him would honestly just openly talk about stuff like that. And I'd be like, yeah, so this is my boundaries and da-da-da-da, and what are your boundaries and what is stuff that you don't like. We would talk about that. We both were very understanding and very respectful towards each other's boundaries. If he was to give any hint of like, why would you like make that your boundary, or that would have turned me off and I would have been like, oh, this is not my man. Simple. This is not the man for me. But he was very respectful towards the boundaries that I had. I was very respectful towards the boundary he has. Our boundaries, I'm not gonna lie, pretty much align. So we mesh pretty well with the things that we value and live by when it comes to a relationship. So I mean, it wasn't really an issue. But if y'all have had someone make you feel bad for having a boundary and you thought about it and you're like, this is actually a reasonable boundary and it doesn't need to be reasonable to everyone, it's reasonable for me, this is what I want, then you already know that person gotta go. Okay. Well, step 3, I want you guys to rebuild self-worth. I don't care if you think that you love yourself to the moon and back. Whether you actually love yourself and see your self-worth or not, I want you to still do this. Because if you're not doing it already, then do you really love yourself? I want you guys to build self-worth. So how you would do this or go about it is self-care practices, doing skincare, make sure you're taking a shower, make sure you're washing your hair, make sure you look the way you want to look. And then also you can do the other things to help your mind. That includes like journaling, affirmations, positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement you receive from supportive people. My person would be my man. But this is a relationship video and you need to work on the self-worth first. So you honestly can be your person. I was my person, my supportive person before my boyfriend came along. So I still am. It's just now I added a person. He just texted me, so we gotta wrap it up. 4, visualize your future. I say this in every video because it applies to everything I talk about. Visualize your future. We already went in depth with it. If you guys want a little more, go watch my other videos, my previous videos. I go a little more in depth on how you can do that. A great tool for that is Pinterest. Highly recommend Pinterest. If you don't want to download an app, what you can do, which is a really good exercise, I just thought about this honestly, you can write down how your future would look without this toxic relationship versus with this toxic relationship, and then see how much lighter and at peace you are without the toxic relationship. You're seeing it on paper. You're seeing it right in front of you. You can't be delusional about it anymore. It's like, bro, this is how life would be if I wasn't in this relationship. I have to go with this way. Fuck how I'm gonna feel temporarily, because it's very temporarily how you're gonna feel. I have to stick with this. This is definitely the winner. Now, let me tell y'all, disclaimer, letting go of someone is not easy. You're gonna feel that pain. You're gonna feel the hurt. You're gonna feel like your world's kind of ripping apart for some of y'all if y'all are very deep in your emotions. But I'm telling y'all, the end goal is so much better than what you think it is. You know you deserve more than this. You're just staying because you're comfortable. You're staying because sometimes it feels good. You're holding on to the good parts when really 90% of it is horrible. I need you guys to remember your mental health, your happiness, your self-appreciation, self-love, self-worth. How you feel about yourself is the most important thing. So what I want y'all to do, y'all already know, go to the comments because I love hearing what y'all got to say. Go to the comments and put one red flag that you've noticed in a relationship. It could be your own relationship, someone else's relationship. Y'all don't gotta give all the details. Y'all could just say the red flag. If y'all want to write me a whole book in the comment section, I'll read it. I like a little bit of tea, y'all. Thank you. Love y'all. I'm gonna go talk to my man now.